Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my girlfriend Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
How much has been a good week? Here it is, February 8th, 1997. I'm getting a little more used to it.
I'm glad. I know you were having some trouble.
97.
I find it so odd that you have trouble with certain years as numbers.
Well, you don't? Like, you don't think about how the way that numbers or whatever things flow in your mouth?
Not really, no.
You don't think about the mouthfeel of certain words?
I know I don't like the way moist sounds, but I don't really have anything against the way it feels in my mouth.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So you don't mind a little moist in your mouth then?
I guess not.
But no, I mean, there are certain, like, salubrious. There are certain words that they're pleasing sounding.
Okay, but...
You don't think so?
Sure, but we're talking about years. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't go like 1913. Now that's weird.
That's a weird year. You're right. You. I know you're mocking me, but you came up with a good one. It would have been weird to be like 1913.
I don't think so.
And yet 2013 sounds good.
2020 or whatever.
2020?
Can you imagine? How's that one sound?
That sounds weird.
But it
sounds bad.
Alliterative.
I know, but it sounds bad. Yeah, 2020. Oh, I've got 2020 vision. Oh my God, is 2020 an election year? Let's see, 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012,
Yes.
2016, 2012. Oh my God. Okay, my presidential campaign, 2020. I've got 2020 vision.
There you go.
It's fucking perfect. If some politician doesn't use that, they are missing the boat. And whatever politician does use that is probably a douchebag. Because I'm a douchebag, and I just thought of that.
All right, so you heard it here first. In 23 years, Mark's running for president, and his slogan will be
2020 vision.
All right.
Listen to Massive Late Fee and have 2020 vision, everybody. Anyway, so John F. Kennedy Jr. will probably be running for president by then.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I know that's the one you don't want to run for president. You said the Kennedys had their time. It was a whole. It was a whole.
Yeah,
bit.
I remember.
Back when the show was funny, it was a whole. It was a whole.
What
bit.
the fuck? I am hilarious.
Back when you used to react to things.
Back when you used to like me.
I love you. You know I love you.
Whatever.
Anyway, so did you have any fun things happen this week?
I don't know. I worked a lot this week, and I had to get up super early for work today. So that's all I have in my mind right now is just being really tired, and that we watch, the movie, because that's all we had time for, really.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you have fun while I was working?
Yeah, I went to a skate park.
What were you doing at the skate park?
Skating.
Mark? No.
Yeah.
No.
I pulled out the old skateboard, and I gave it a go.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And I played...
Do you even have health insurance? Like, what is wrong with you?
Does it matter?
Yeah.
I don't need health insurance. Come on.
If you're going to go skateboarding on concrete parks with 12-year-olds, then you do.
We're people, not cars, Carol. Our bodies heal themselves.
What the fuck?
No, but, and I played GoldenEye with my friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a blast.
It's fun. It's a good game. We like four of us will get together and we hook up the 64 and the N64 and all the controllers, and then four of us will get together and we play the multiplayer shoot each other kind of thing. So then if you get the golden gun and then you shoot somebody, then they die instantly. One shot.
Nice.
Man with the golden gun. And we listen to techno music.
Okay.
What we play? One time we're playing GoldenEye, and we're listening to like techno music. It's like a drone in the background, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I start listening to it, and it's just like the thing's just going there. 1,000 snakes everywhere. I'm just like, I turned to Alex, and I'm like, what the fuck are we listening to?
Yeah, techno music is only meant for people who are high.
Yeah, or like you go to the club and it's, you can barely hear it. You're not even focusing on it. You're trying to grind up on a girl,
Yeah, it's all about the rhythm. It's
right.
Yeah.
It's all about the rhythm. That's what dancing nightclubs like.
Yeah.
All about the rhythm. Anyway, so enough with the skater girls and club girls that I'm going after.
What in the actual fuck? Excuse me, you motherfucker.
No, that's not happening.
I did. Now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, like when you go to Clutch Cargo's, for those of you not in the Michigan area, it's a dance club. When you go to Clutch Cargo's, like guys aren't trying to come up on your booty there.
Who cares? I'm not going looking for their booty.
Oh, I didn't. I'm not either.
You said you were.
It was a joke.
Fuck you. Don't joke about that shit.
You don't you understand how bits work, Kara? It's a bit for the show. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you're playing the angry girlfriend as a bit for the show.
I'll show you bits and pieces later.
All the girls that were hitting on me.
Right.
This is called Mark's Mistakes Stew. Start
finding little pieces all around the house.
Been taking lessons from Brandon on 90210. 90210 has been on for a few years now. Seven seasons, I believe, currently. But one show that might not be around for any more than a couple seasons is that show we watched and we liked, the Ray Romano show. Everybody loves Raymond. Raymond, yeah.
It's not doing well?
Well, this is notes from Captain Video File. It says, despite its wretched ratings, sitcom has a ray of hope.
Ugh.
Right from the start, Ray Romano figured his show had a lousy name. Let me see if I can do his voice. It doesn't have... I can't do
What
it.
the fuck?
I can't do it. Deborah. I can't... His voice sounds kind of like... He sounds kind of like... It's so... Like Kermit T. Frog, It kind of sounds like Kermit, but it's like it's a lot deeper. And I can't do it. Wow. I can't get there. I can't get from one to the other. But he's got that kind of voice. It doesn't have an adult sitcom sound, says comic Romano in his characteristic deadpan manner. It just sounds like an Urkel show. Wow. Ouch. At least Romano and executive producer Phil Rosenthal, everybody loves Rosenthal, doesn't have the same ring, are able to maintain a jaunty sense of humor about the rotten ratings for their otherwise fine little family comedy.
How can it be fine otherwise when the ratings are like literally the measurement of how good it is?
Right. It's finished number 79 in this week's Nielsen.
Holy shit.
So
Raymond goes down the hole.
Right, exactly. So if he had to rename his show, evidently everybody does not love Raymond would be the obvious choice. Rosenthal jokes.
Right.
These guys can afford to kid around. CBS has done right by Romano. Instead of yanking Everybody Loves Raymond because it failed to instantly snag an audience, CBS hung in there. It renewed the rookie sitcom for a full season of 22 episodes, even though it usually finishes third or fourth in its dreadful Friday night time slot, following Brain Dead Dave's World.
Ooh.
Not a fan of Dave's World. You like Dave's World?
It's fine. It's not as funny as Everybody Loves Raymond, though.
Do you think it's brain dead?
No.
And come March, Everybody Loves Raymond will get a spring test drive in the more successful 8:30 p.m. Monday time slot, now occupied by Ted Danson and Inc. which will move to 9:30 p.m. Mondays. I don't watch Ted Danson's Inc.
What the hell is it?
INK.
Is he doing tattoos? What is this?
It's Ted Danson and a bunch of bikers.
Right.
So they're giving it a shot on Monday night, and they're renewing it for a second season, and we're gonna see what happens. But I mean, time slot's got to be a big part of it, right? It's Friday night. That's a terrible time for shows.
Yeah. I mean, people who have a life are not watching TV at that time.
No, they're at Clutch Cargo's.
Grinding up on somebody.
Right, listening to 1,000 snakes. Snakes everywhere. It was so weird. Anyway, speaking of grinding, Carol, next week. Well, yeah, next week is I almost said Halloween, spookiest time of the year. It's Valentine's Day. And we've got we'll be our next show will air the day after Valentine's Day. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is our last week before the Valentine's Day holiday, Carol. Could you look a little more confused over there? Like a blitz, like tabula rosa. You're a blank slate over there. As I'm talking, thank God there are no cameras in here.
Well, why do we need them? You describe everything to them.
It's theater of the mind, Carol.
No, I was just thinking that like Valentine's Day is next week and I have nothing for you and nothing planned and I suck.
Is that your, well, that's what you have for me. Is that your thinking face?
I guess so.
You look like an automaton.
It was my
robot.
It was my slightly panicked thinking face.
Ah, that makes a lot more sense. But because of that, we are going to settle in for a little bit of massive love, Carol.
All right, let's do it.
First one here. Bi-curious single black male, 37, 5'7", 135 pounds, seeking feminine, passionate male, Virgo or Capricorn, 18 to 30, 140 to 160 pounds for discreet relationship, Detroit area. What do you think about this?
Like Virgo or Capricorn, like, I mean, I agree with the astrological stuff, but you're literally cutting your chances down to like 1/6 of the population right there.
Oh, I mean, he's cutting his chances down to nothing.
And then a 30-pound range of weight.
Right, 20 pounds. 140 to 160.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess the age range is at least a little bit wide because it's 18 to 30. But this dude's 37, by the way.
Okay.
So he's okay with an 18-year-old. Weird.
But he doesn't want anybody anywhere near his age?
I guess not. 5'7", 135 pounds. So he's very lean. And he's seeking... So these are the boxes you have to check. You have to be feminine as a man.
Okay.
You have to be passionate. You have to be male. You have to be either a Virgo or a Capricorn. You have to be between 18 and 30. And you have to weigh between 140 and 160 pounds.
If you're 161 pounds, get out of here, you fat cow.
You piece of shit. And if you're 138 pounds, eat a fucking sandwich. You have to be able to be discreet, because this is a discreet relationship.
Of course. They all are.
You need to be in the Detroit area.
I'm surprised it didn't say anything about being clean.
Right. But yeah, like, weird, right? I mean, what is the special significance of being a Virgo or a Capricorn, Carol?
Who knows? Like, first of all, we don't know his astrological sign. Which
but you're into this stuff, so you should know.
I mean, I know a little. I don't really, like, off the top of my head, I don't know what Virgo or Capricorn are like because I don't really know any.
You need your book.
I do. I need my book.
Because to do someone's star chart.
I've spent lots of time doing charts, but I've never done one for a Virgo or a Capricorn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. My mom's a Virgo.
I'll have to do her chart. That would be fun.
I guess she's somewhat feminine.
But she is not a man, and she's not 30, so
No, she's not between 18 and 30.
she is not going to be answering this ad.
Well, Carol can't sleep? Question mark.
Never.
Would you like a sexy, sensuous, single white male to talk to you and gently relax you with good conversation?
Oh my God, is he offering to be a phone sex operator? What's going on?
Apparently, that's it, because that's the entire ad.
What the fuck?
The entirety of the ad is can't sleep, question mark. Would you like a sexy, sensuous, single white male to talk to you and gently relax you with good conversation? That's our job, by the way, dick. Like, that's what we do.
But I mean, like, to relax you with good cover. Like, when he starts out, it's kind of sexy, like, oh, sensual guy, you know, and like, but to relax you with good conversation, that sounds like something that you do with your grandma. Like, I don't understand. Where's he going with this? Pick a side.
Do you need someone to read The Catcher in the Rye to you?
Let me make you some warm milk and, I don't know.
Are you homebound?
Right? Here, go to sleep, and then I will rob you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. He's going to hypnotize them to sleep and then rape them.
Oh, I said rob. Rob.
I know, but I went to the...
Ew.
It's in the personal ads.
Ew.
He's sensual, he says.
Rape is not sensual.
No. Not usually.
Okay.
Not historically. There wasn't, when the Vikings came into town, it wasn't that sensual.
Ew.
Vikings weren't.
You don't know their life, okay?
Could you imagine, though, the polite pillagers? They, they're coming around the horizon. They've got their swords and bows and arrows or whatever and everything, their clubs, and all the women are like, oh no, here they come. They're going to rape and... but they brought flowers. They got flowers in their other hand. Oh, that's so nice. That's thoughtful.
It's awful.
Straight, moral, sensitive, female, seeking the same for friendship. If you feel as empty as I do...
Holy shit.
...and are brave enough to admit it, then call me. Introverts are especially encouraged to respond.
What the fuck? This lady needs a therapist.
This is the
not
personal
a
ads.
yeah. You're
Not another empty vessel
Right.
to talk about their misery with.
And two introverts do not work. Like no.
Two introverts make I
An
believe
innie.
it's- I was gonna say implosion vert. Yeah. So straight, moral. She needs you to know she's moral, sensitive, female, seeking same for friendship. If you feel as empty as I do, and are brave enough to admit it, do you think that? Okay, do you think that she really? This sounds like an advertisement for a cult.
Right? I mean,
Do you have money and you feel emptiness inside and you need someone to give you purpose for money?
maybe she's like closeted, and so she's like looking for somebody who's
Ooh.
moral and
Right.
empty and
Ooh, I think you've cracked the code here, Carol. I think you have cracked the lesbian code. If you're, if you feel as empty as if a penis just doesn't fill you up the way, a fist would,
oh god.
or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what lesbians do, because I'm not one, and I have nothing they want.
Well, you have something they want.
What?
You have a mouth.
Okay, but it's attached to a guy, so not something they're into. Last one here. Not politically correct to want you, but oh baby, I do. Cute, petite, degreed, single black female. 22, 5'5", 120 pounds. You, sweet, cute, lean, kissable, strong, single white male. 28 to 30, with goals, but also want to have fun. It's not politically correct to want you, but oh baby, I do.
That's so fucked up.
She's a cute, petite, degreed, single black female who's 22 years old, 520 pounds, so lean for sure. And she wants a sweet, cute, lean, kissable, strong, single white male, 28 to 30, which is a tight ass range.
Yeah.
This woman works with someone who's married or something that she wants, and she's like, I'll just get his carbon copy.
There you go.
With goals, but also want to have fun. So it's not politically correct because she's black and he's white.
I kind of thought we were past that.
I thought the politically correct thing to want would be for black and white to be together, right?
Right? You would think.
So I don't get it. Should be like not politically correct for me to want to fucking murder you. But oh baby, I do.
That's a different kind of ad.
How is so sweet, cute, lean, which fine. Those are all fine. Kissable. How do you tell if someone's kissable?
I don't know. Maybe they have a pretty mouth.
What's a in the South?
Right.
What's a kissable person? What's a kissable face look like, Carol? Do I have a kissable face?
Of course you do.
Okay, so why?
With the cute little pinchable cheeks. He shaved off his beard today. So.
Jesus. Pinchable cheeks. You're wanting me to never want to be clean shaven again. Because the way you're describing me like a cherub.
You're very handsome, baby. I love you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just saying you do have pinchable cheeks, and they're cute.
You have pinchable cheeks, too.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Anyway, speaking of pinchable, someone pinch me because I need to be, I don't know, goosed.
What the fuck is happening right now?
Get excited about the movie that we watched.
Wow. That was the worst segue I've ever heard in my whole life.
Oh, we went up high this week, Carol. We got up real high on Dante's Peak.
We did watch Dante's Peak. Yes.
I thought Dante was going to be...
I mean, you were high at the skate park.
I thought Dante was going to be Pierce Brosnan's character's name.
Oh, my God.
It was going to be Dante's Peak. That's what he called it anytime he brought a woman to climax.
I don't think that he's capable of doing that, considering the entire movie he was only able to kiss this woman like one time. Yeah. And she was practically begging him to fuck her.
He's a handsome man, but he is not a very sensual man.
Yeah.
He's handsome, but like he's handsome in the way that like a mannequin is handsome,
Yes.
Like where you see a statue and you're like, oh, the artist did a great job. That's a good-looking statue.
Right. Yes, I get it.
But you don't want to fuck it. And that's kind of what he's like.
He is a little too prim and proper. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's like he wouldn't want to disturb you in bed, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it'd be very like a little motion, and stuff.
Ew. And then you've got Linda Hamilton from like Terminator.
Not from like Terminator, from the actual movie Terminator. And Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Right.
Badass Linda Hamilton completely wasted in this movie with no agency at all.
Yeah. And she was like wearing fucking heels most of the time.
She's the mayor of this fucking town. And you would think they get a badass like Linda Hamilton. Awesome actress, just like very like strong woman, and everything. And you get her and you get Pierce Brosnan, whatever. And he's the expert because he's a volcanologist. He's the guy from the Geological Survey. But she's the mayor of the town.
Right.
That has worked to build up this town. And at no point does she ever seem in any kind of control.
No, I agree.
And it's just, it was really wasted. Like, her character should have been written way stronger.
Yeah, and I mean, it started out that way. Like, she's the kind of person that's always like running behind and doesn't like her daughter's helping her find her clothes. And yeah, not the kind of person that you would expect to be the mayor of a town.
And she, like, they never butted heads. There was no tension between the two of them.
Oh, there was tension.
Sexual tension, but like, she instantly believed him.
Her child almost got killed.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, structurally, from a movie's standpoint. I'm not saying thinking about it logically. I'm saying from a movie structure, he comes in, and what he's saying could threaten this town. If he's wrong. If he's jumping the gun. And there's never any tension there. She immediately believes him. She never doesn't believe him. And she goes with him the entire time.
I think she was letting her vagina do her thinking.
Well, that's not an interesting character.
Also, I mean, that was coming from other people. That was coming from her mother-in-law. That was coming from his boss for some reason, which I do not understand.
Makes no sense. The boss character doesn't even need to be in this movie. And instead, it should have been him and her.
Yeah.
She should have been, you know, like, fighting against it.
Yeah, it was... There was a lot of weirdness about the way they did this movie.
So, I guess to set things up, real quick, we watched Dante's Peak. Essentially, it's another disaster movie. Yeah. My least favorite kind of movie, but whatever. But it's a volcano. There's a town called Dante's Peak, and they're living below Dante's Peak. This giant matte painting that sits in the background of this town. But it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of really good shots in this movie. Yeah. Cinematography is very good in this film. But they live there in the shadow of this mountain, and it hasn't erupted in like 7,000 years. It's not a very active volcano. At first, when they show it to Pierce Brosnan, he's like, "What do you think the odds are? Like 1,000 to 1 to it, erupting?" And Pierce Brosnan, at first glance, is like more like 10,000 to 1. Like, this fucking thing is not one of the active volcanoes. I wouldn't think anything of it, but I'll go up there and check it out because that's what you want me to do. So that's what he does, and then the plot kind of propels from there. And that's this thing's gonna blow. It's just like any other disaster movie. It's set up the town, set up the people, the characters, set up the situation, and then Act 3 is tear the whole fucking thing down. Murder everyone, heap as much misery as you can on all these people.
Right.
And that's why I don't like these movies.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. That's, you get an emotional investment, and instead of it paying off, it, hurts.
But, so the backstory of Pierce Brosnan's character is he was in Buenos Aires, I think, or something like that. He was...
Somewhere in South America,
In the beginning of the movie, he's working with his fiancée or girlfriend or whatever that was working with him. They're both...
volcanologists.
Yeah, they're both volcanologists, and there's a volcano going off. And they're racing away from it and everything. They're talking about, like, oh, what a fun story and shit if we get out of this alive, and stuff that no human being would be talking about. And a piece of molten rock kind of punches through the top of the car that they're driving in, hits her in the head, and kills her.
Yeah.
So she dies. And, like... I think the movie wants us to think that because of this, he's more weary, more cautious.
Yeah.
But they never really establish that.
Well, and like his boss seems to think that.
Right.
But he doesn't ever come out and explicitly say it either.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust his opinion.
Which is weird because the conflict of the movie doesn't work. Because he sends him to come check out Dante's Peak. And he's like, okay, I think there's some signs here. There's some birds and squirrels and stuff are dying in here. There's some trees that are dying. Looks like the CO levels and things like that are high enough. The sulfur content level's high enough where it's like killing some wildlife and stuff like that. There's a hot springs. There's a really terrible scene with a group, but
just a couple.
A couple from the Los Angeles or whatever that they are in the hot springs, and apparently the hot springs get so hot that they boil them alive.
Well, that shows like magma coming up into the water. Like she's like, oh, it's really hot, and then this movie I don't think handled the lava and magma correctly, because
I agree.
I think the destruction happens further out from that source of heat. Like
because I think you're right. I think the lava itself is like super, super hot, but I think all the air and everything around it is like superheated as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that they'd just be like, oh, the water's hot, and then have magma come up and get them. Like,
right.
They would have boiled to death without the magma.
Well, there's several times that magma in this acts like it's a killer in a slasher film.
Right. Yes.
Because there's a time later where they're up in the mother-in-law's cabin, and they're just talking like, oh, you packed your bags and everything, and all of a sudden the whole like front of the or the whole back of the cabin just disintegrates as lava starts coming in the room, and they start running from it and everything, and there's lava all over the place, and it's like, oh, I just snuck up on you there. Didn't feel it. Didn't hear anything. Right. It was just like that lava just crept up there. It's like, oh, we didn't know because it wasn't on screen at the time. And that's the first thing I thought of when that happened. I was like, that's like a killer bursting into the room.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
And yeah, I mean, it's like surrounding them. They're trying to drive through it, which is ridiculous.
Right.
Like, there's no way. There are so many situations in this movie that they survived that there is absolutely no way they would survive.
Yeah, agreed. But so he the guy sends Pierce Brosnan up there, and Pierce Brosnan's like, well, here's some evidence that I found. I think it's time to call a meeting of the town and talk about the possibility that we might evacuate because this thing could go off, right? And the boss apparently hears about it. He calls him and he's like, hey, I think we need to send some people up here and stuff like that. Boss comes up and himself and he's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, you can't do this. These things, like, they usually don't go off or whatever. You're too cautious. And it's like, this was never really established. And he says to him, he's like, I need evidence. But as far as we know, we don't understand volcanoes enough,
right,
to understand the conflict or where you guys are coming from. Because the two people that died in the hot springs, and then all the dead animals and the plants dying, that all seems like evidence to us. Like, if that's a common thing that happens with volcanoes, and then they just kind of recede again, and they often don't erupt, that's information that the general public needs.
Yeah, true.
Because that doesn't come across. It comes across like Pierce Brosnan's using scientific evidence, and he's like, oh, no, you're just going on your gut. You're just going on instinct. That doesn't seem like the case at all.
No. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not like he's running around like a crazy person going, oh, let me, scare you all or something.
Right. I think this is very much inspired by Twister. I think that, this might have been written before Twister or whatever, but I think that's definitely why it got the green light, because Twister was so successful. Mm-hmm. With the little crew that they bring in, they don't talk much. We don't really establish a lot of their personalities, but they're the eccentric group they're experts on this. And I
guess weather people just have to be weird.
Right. And that's very Twister-like to me.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's Twister-like in the fact that, like I said, and that's... At one point, there's a little girl just sitting on, like, her front porch crying as the volcano starts erupting and everyone around them's dying. And it's like, that girl's probably dead.
Yeah, she's holding a teddy bear crying. Like, and you're like, where are her parents?
Dead.
Like, are they... Yeah.
People are stampeding all over the place. They're running all over each other. A helicopter pilot's taking $15,000 in cash to get people out of there.
What an asshole.
And then he ends up crashing and dying. Those people, by the way, did nothing wrong. They're just trying to get out.
Yeah.
And they had money, but they die. And there's like none of these people did anything wrong, or there's no villains in the movie really. This is
the volcano's the villain.
Yeah, and this is like I said. There's no they're in it for the. There's no rival geology team that's not in it for the science. They're in it for the money or whatever.
Right.
But it's just what I don't like about these disaster movies is we meet these people, they get you to like these people, and they're like, now let's shovel as much shit on these people as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's like misery porn, and I don't like it.
But what I like about it, it's interesting to me, like the science and stuff. Like I want to take a geology class, like I enjoy learning about weather and stuff. And it's like I wonder, like, is this what it'd really be like? So like it's more of a fascination, not misery porn to me.
Well, and from a technical aspect, it's a fantastic feat. I mean, they obviously built this town, the set, and everything, and then they just fucking tear it all down. And it's over the top and just carnage, but in a good way, in an interesting way. Mm-hmm. Take away the human misery aspect of it. It's fucking over the top chaos, but you would think it would be with a massive volcano exploding,
right?
But it's just like lava. I mean, like lava's destroying buildings. The steeple of the church is falling.
Yeah, it just falls right off the church, and like the river was like flooding. The bridge is crashing. I don't remember exactly what was causing that.
I don't know, just like upheavals in the land and stuff like that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of earthquakes happening.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, I think a lot of it is true to life if it was a massive, massive eruption.
Like, I don't think that there was a sense of urgency prior to the actual eruption.
Agreed.
And there should have been.
Well, yeah, because they go to get a glass of water and it's fucking brown because it's just filled with sulfur dioxide or whatever, and it's essentially become acid. And yeah, at that point they're like, it's happening, like it's gonna go.
Yeah. And
their readings are starting to be like, oh, it's gonna go. And everyone's like, let's have a meeting, and they tell everyone, just be calm. You can, in the morning, everyone can start to leave, and it's like, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, one person at the meeting's like, do we have to wait to leave? And she's like, well, no, you can go.
No,
like, everybody should have been fucking like, peace, I'm out.
At one point, she was on, the mayor, Linda Hamilton, at one point, she was on the TV, giving, like, an address and everything, right? Mm-hmm. Why couldn't she have just done that? Why couldn't they have that? Like the sheriff's driving around the town, being like, "Town meeting, come to the town meeting." Why not just say, "Start packing your shit and leave"?
Right?
Why couldn't she go on the TV and say, "Hey, this volcano is going to erupt. We need to just get out of the town."
You know why? I think because they still weren't 100% sure that it was going to erupt, and they were so worried about messing up the town's image because. The background of the story too is the town's getting some fucking award for being one of the number 2 best place,
and they're getting a plaque
to live with a population of under 20,000 because there's 7,000 people in this town.
Right, there were.
Yeah, no, there's like 10
people left. Yeah.
But so I think that's part of what put the brakes on a lot of it was they wanted to keep their good reputation.
And there's some Jaws style. There's some rich developer that's like he's bringing a bunch of jobs there and stuff like that, and they don't want to spook him out, and he's like, at one point right before the volcano erupts, he's like, I'm getting out of here before shit hits the fan or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everything, it's like the volcano was waiting for him. The millionaire's out of town. Okay.
So once the volcano starts to erupt, this movie becomes a fucking like nightmare.
It's a horror show.
Like I couldn't
worse.
handle it. I couldn't handle it. It was so awful.
It's a disaster that just keeps getting worse.
Like every time you think, okay, it's got to be over. Nope, there's something else bad happening.
Yeah, they go. The grandma decides she's going to stay on the mountain because her and her husband built it or whatever. And
The mountain. The whole thing.
one rock at a time. The house that she lives in,
Right.
the cabin. And the kids decide that they're going to go up and get her. So, like, the 9-year-old or whatever is driving this car.
He had to be like 12 or 13.
I think
Come
he's
on.
probably like 12. But he's driving this car up the mountain, can't see anything.
Yeah, because there's volcanic ash. Like, another issue I have with this movie is why are vehicles still working?
Don't know.
Shouldn't be.
They should, air intake valves and stuff like that or whatever. But anyway, so they get up there and they get to the grandma. That's when the serial killer lava starts stalking them. And they get into the boat and into the water.
Yeah, the lake has turned to acid. They're
entire
in
thing.
a boat that is fucking being eaten up by acid.
Yeah.
This is insanity.
Is that realistic? The entire lake's turned to acid?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess.
I want a actual volcanologist to do some kind of response to this movie.
Right. But so the grandma has to eventually get down and physically pull the boat because it's like at one point one of the kids is like, acid eats metal. Yeah, and then the acid does it's almost like the acid was like, oh yeah, we do, and then it starts to eat the boat.
But yeah, the grandma sacrifices herself to save them, which is nice. I think she wanted to die, which is why she wasn't leaving in the first place.
Maybe she didn't want to die in front of her grandkids though, like she gets to.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, she jumps in fucking acid and makes sounds that I'll never unhear.
Those kids are scarred for life.
Right? And Pierce Brosnan's carrying her down the mountain and she's in so much pain. Put a bullet in her head. Don't any of you people have guns? You're mountain folk. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, she says, I don't think I'm going to make it. Yeah, no amount of deep sea fishing is going to get that the memory of their torn up grandmother dying in Pierce Brosnan's arms out of their head.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's realistic. I don't know though.
So then he drives the car because they can't get out of the town. He drives the car into the mine.
That's still fucking driving.
Yeah, and crashes the car into the mine. He picked up a transmitter that they just so happened to get from NASA, and he brings it with him. They crash into the mine. They go where the little kid's secret stash or is whatever, because him and his friends hang out in this mine for some reason.
Which his mom's like, it's dangerous in there. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Apparently not.
It's the only safe place now.
Right. So they go there, and Pierce Brosnan's like, oh, fuck, I forgot the transmitter. First of all, you had one job. I mean, how did you forget that transmitter? But he goes back, and there's some sort of earthquake or whatever, plot convenience quake that separates them. And he gets into the car to get it. He's trying to get the transmitter. And then the fucking rocks start the earth's shifting and everything.
Yeah.
And it turns this car into a tin can, and it just keeps getting closer and closer and closer. And there's he's buried alive.
Yeah, he's got a broken arm at this before he even gets into the car too.
So he's just buried alive in there.
Yeah.
He kicks at this NASA thing. He gets it to start transmitting. And then we just cut. She's trapped in there. I don't know if he'd have enough oxygen to last, to be honest with you, if he's buried that deep. But he's stuck in there, and we cut to his little team that got out of there. His boss didn't make it.
No.
The penalty for him being wrong, I guess, was to be thrown into a fucking river and killed.
Swept away.
But it was so funny because before that, they're talking on the phone. And he's like, just for the record, for what it's worth, you were right and I was wrong. And it's not the time, maybe,
Well, but I disagree. It was the time because there was a high likelihood they wouldn't make it out of this.
But does
and
it
he
matter?
didn't. It mattered to him. It was important to him to admit
was
that
it?
he was wrong.
Okay.
He knew he was wrong.
All right. Well, anyway. So the guy that was shown earlier in the movie to know something about this transmitter, he happens to look over at the array of lights and sees one blinking. And he's like, hey, how long's that been blinking? He's like, I don't know, a day or two.
Yeah.
And then he says something like, oh, thank you, NASA, or whatever. And he like screams it a bunch of times. And then they cut to rescuing Pierce Brosnan, who's somehow still alive. But I mean, and the dude's not fucking like, he seems like there's nothing wrong with him.
Right. I mean,
they pull him out and he's like, oh, the kids are in there, though. And Linda Hamilton and her kids are in there. We've got to get them. It's not like, he's not fucking ranting and raving. He doesn't look shell-shocked.
He should be severely dehydrated and, like...
convinced he was going to die.
Yeah.
Like...
more than just limping.
Right.
With the broken arm.
And then his little team's like, oh, they were saying, like, oh, he... like, they recount the one... her only lines are recounting the last scene. She's like, oh, yeah, he was like, oh, thank you, NASA. They, like, a bunch of times. It's like, yeah, we just heard that.
Yeah.
Don't need you to explain it again. And he's like, hey, where's our boss? And I'm like, I didn't make it. At least he got to see the show, though. Just a weird line.
But I mean, that's to those people, that is true. Like I said, when they're driving away from the horror show, right? Mm-hmm. And their mom's like, don't look. Like, why would you not look?
Right.
I mean, like, if I was going to be killed by a natural disaster, I would not want to blink, because at least you get this special thing that a lot of people never get to see. You get to see it.
Anyone whose family members were killed in a natural disaster, just think about how special that was, how rare. Like lottery winners.
I mean, seriously, like tornadoes, and I mean, it's pretty and cool.
I think there's something wrong with your brain. That's what I think. And that's why you drag me to these fucking movies I don't like.
I'm sorry.
Twister and fucking... At least Twister was alright, but...
This was alright, too.
Okay, so the movie works... The movie works like it's supposed to work. I do have some problems with, like I said, I think it'd be more interesting if it was a little more fleshed out, character motivations, and I think if there was... Instead of the boss, if it was those two butting heads a little bit more, like a little bit of anger, sexual chemistry underneath and stuff like that. If she had a little more control, a little more agency, if she had a little more of a point, I think those things would have made it better. But as far as what the movie wants to do, which is have us get to know and care about these characters, at least to a little bit of a degree, and then destroy their lives... so that we can be sad about that and everything. It works well. And from a technical aspect, like I said, everything is really lots of practical effects in this movie, and everything's really well done.
Yeah, it's very cool to look at.
But yeah, I mean, it's good in that. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, highly.
I can't say highly, but I think I would recommend it.
Well, especially to see it in the theater on the big screen with all the lava.
I mean, I enjoyed it, and it worked emotionally for me. Mm-hmm. And this is coming from someone that doesn't like these kind of movies,
right?
So I would say it earns high marks in that regard, and the acting is good. You know, there's nothing hugely to write home about. I think Pierce Brosnan's a little miscast in this, if you ask me.
Okay.
But, but other than that, I think it's pretty good.
I liked it.
Well, that is our episode, Kara. Why don't you, do your thing?
So you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com. Let us know if you agree. You can check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
You got it.
And tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.